Okay. Hi, my name is Erika Johnson, and this is my student, my husband, David.
Hi.
And yeah, let's just begin. So, Radiant Warriors, I invite you to take a seat on your mat in an easy pose. If you would like a little something underneath you, you can take a folded blanket. You're okay there?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take a nice easy pose on our mats. And take a moment to check in. Think about our intentions for this practice. Think about our intentions for the day. Releasing everything and just bringing ourselves into the moment. Yoking ourselves with our breath and our bodies, becoming one. So, breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, feeling your spine, each vertebra stacking on top of itself, pressing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Breathe out. Another nice deep breath in, breathing in. Breathing sideways into those ribs, breathing out. And go ahead, open your eyes. I'm going to invite you to learn Ujjayi breath, where it's almost like you're fogging up a mirror with your exhale. So you'll take an inhale in. You can bring your mirror to the front and exhale like you're fogging up the mirror. Good. Let's take another breath like that, breathing in. And out, breathing out. Fogging up that mirror, good. You're gonna take that mirror and put it down, and you're gonna make the same breath in the back of the throat, kind of like a swirling, and you're gonna keep your mouth closed. So it'll sound a little like this, breathing in. And out. Nice, that's it. It's like you've done this before. Again, taking that nice easy pose. Let's take a couple more breaths here with that Ujjayi breath, practicing breathing in. And breathing out. And a nice victorious breath, breathing in. And out. On this next few breaths, we're going to start exploring, connecting the center of the body with that breath. We're going to take a Sufi Grind. So as you're breathing in, it's like you're taking belly button and stirring it around, grounding those hips into the ground. You sure you don't want something underneath those hips?
Okay.
Let's get a little something for underneath. You stay there. Okay. Let me go grab something real fast for your hips. So leaving your feet where they were, let's stick this underneath your sits bones. Just raising those hips up a little tiny bit. Good. All right. So back to that Sufi Grind. I like to take a little bit of a tilt from side to side, really grounding into the sits bones on the ground, seeing if you can adjust that seat a little bit more, but grounding into those hip bones. We start out a little fast and then just start exploring, taking that belly button to the front and to the back. And we'll start connecting the breath, inhaling in and out, on your own pace, and out. Breathing in and out, and in and out. Close those eyes, you may, but you don't have to. Breathing in and out, good. Grind slowly down to a small little halt. And exploring those circles in the opposite direction. Connecting that breath to the body. You feeling this in your knees?
Hips.
In your hips. Okay. You don't want it to be compression pain. Opening of the hips uncomfortable is okay, especially in this day and age where we're holding a lot of stress in our hips. Okay. Oh, let's bring that to a pause. And let's make our way down to tabletop. Continuing to warm. Oh, good. That is what's next. Just had to check. Make your way down into your tabletop pose. Hands are right under your shoulders. Knees are right under your hips. If you want to take a little wag of the tail, we're about to do cat and cow. And as you inhale, you're going to press that belly button out towards the ceiling. And exhale. Press that belly button down to the floor. Find that nice arch. Grounding through those hands and those knees. Pressing into your fingertips, taking a little bit of pressure off of those carpal bones in your wrists. And exhale out into that cow pose, breathing it out. Good, and inhale in, pressing that belly button up towards the ceiling. And exhaling out, dropping that spine and that belly button down to the floor. Good, and breathing in. Feel your breath expanding into my hand up here. Letting all that tension drip off the bottom of your back, off the tailbone, and exhale out. That's your cow pose. And one more nice deep breath in. And out. Find your own rhythm with the breath. Keep exploring this cat and cow position. And on your own pace, on your own time. Good. Let's do 2 more of those. Starting to feel a little warm. Yeah. You're gonna push back those hips. To those toes, we're going to reach for child's pose. And knees are about hip width apart on the mat. Good. If you would like, I invite you to take your toes and put them together, just for that natural turnout of the hip bones. Good. So if at any point in our practice you feel the need or the desire to come back to this pose, we call it Warrior 4, because warriors know when they need to take a break and rest. So if at any point you feel like you need to take a moment and rest, you can always come back to this position here. Okay? Let's take another couple breaths here before we do a couple more warming things. Good. And let's make our way down to our bellies on the mat. Got Rory fur all over. Hands underneath your shoulders. Forehead down on the mat. Zipper your legs close together at the back so that your ankles are touching, your knees are touching. Good. So his hands are right underneath the shoulders. And we're going to do a little baby cobra where you're going to bring your chest, your body, and your head and face up, looking straight ahead. So you're going to peel off the mat. Very little pressure on those hands, very little pressure on those arms, but finding that arch in the back, breathing there, feeling the stretch in the space being created in the chest and the neck. And on the next exhale, go ahead and bring it back down to your mat. Good. Take it over here. When you're ready, on the next exhale, you will peel off that mat, go straight ahead. Good. Finding that Cobra pose. Lovely. Feeling the breath. No pinching or tension or pains in the back. Yes? A little bit? Maybe a little. Okay. Always take it down a little bit just so that you're not feeling those pinches and tweaks. And on the next exhale, bring it down to the mat again. Good. Keep zippering those legs together. Feel the Lengthen the strength in the backs of the legs as you peel one last time into that Cobra off the mat. Bring that head up. Squeezing those legs together, keeping those knees straight, toes together. And for an extra little challenge, you can bring that head and those eyes up just a little bit more. And for myself, I find myself tensing up those hips. So if you feel yourself adjusting at all, just encourage those muscles to relax. And on the exhale, bring it back down to the mat. Okay. Now we are going to tuck our toes in underneath us, behind us. Yeah, you might need to scooch a little bit forward. I can see you're already off the mat back there. So you're gonna tuck those toes behind you. Hands go directly underneath the shoulders. And on one exhale, float those hips up into the air behind you so that we come up into this inverted V pose, into downward facing dog. Okay? When you are ready, breathing in, breathing out, float those hips up into the air, and inverted V. Nice, good. Keep those feet directly underneath your hips. So take those toes just a tiny, teeny, like about a ½ inch apart from each other. Yeah, there it is. And feel it in the backs of the legs. You feel them in the bottoms of the feet?
Yep.
Okay. And really think about making a nice straight line here in your shoulders, where I know you hold a lot of tension because of work. Good. And breathe in this position. Again, dogs like to wag their tail, so you can kind of explore wagging that tail from side to side. Dogs also like to take a walk, so if you want to kind of walk through those feet, explore and stretch through the backs of the calves, through the backs of the hamstrings. Whenever you need to, you can come down, take a break in tabletop, take a break in child's pose. Good. When you're ready, we'll go back up into that downward facing dog. Doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. And from there, we're going to walk our feet forward to meet our hands at the front of our mat. So walk. And then find your legs underneath your hips. If you need to take a slight bend in the knees, that's fine. You can grab those elbows. So you're going to be in this ragdoll position, forward fold, grounding through those legs. And I'm not going to hold you here for too long because we don't want much of a head rush. So you're going to roll that back up, stacking one vertebrae on top of the next. Good. And coming up to center, stacking that chin and that neck up on top of that spine. And we're going to come to a pose of stillness. Samastitihi. Okay? Bring those hands to heart center, grounding through those feet, grounding through the ground, pressing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Not quite mountain pose yet, but finding that stillness. That those feet are planted in our hips. So this is a grounding standing pose. Everything starts with the feet and the toes and the bottoms of the feet. So let's talk a moment about the Pada Bandha, which is the bandha at the bottoms of the feet. It's the arch of the foot. Super simple. Lift those toes and notice that it really engages the bottom of that foot. Drop those toes, lift those toes. Engaging the bottom of the foot. Now see if you can keep that bottom of the foot engaged and still drop your toes down to the ground. It's tough if you're not used to doing it, okay? So if at any point you feel like you want to reinforce that grounding sensation, Lifting those toes will re-engage that Pada Bandha and allow you to re-engage and ground through the bottom of the foot. So grounding through those feet, connecting yourself down to the earth, pressing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, feeling that spine nice and long. It's not a straight line, it's a nice little S-curve, but feeling it really lengthening through each of those vertebrae. Let's float those arms up over our head into mountain, arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Practicing the Sanskrit, but breathing in. Is it still recording? You stay where you are. Perfect. Good. Let's, on the next exhale, drop that right arm down. Reaching those left fingertips up towards the ceiling. You're going to draw them over your body. In fact, let's keep those fingertips reaching towards the ceiling as we draw our right fingertips down, our leg grounding through those feet, grounding through the bottom half of the body. And then for that extra little stretch, draw that left arm up over the body. You are now in side angle pose. Okay. And we come out of the pose the same way we went into it, grounding through that bottom. Good. Bring those arms back up towards the ceiling. And dropping that left arm down, lifting those right fingertips up over your head, drawing those left fingertips down the left side of the body, and then drawing those fingertips across. Yes. Konasana. Breathing there. Again, remember to keep engaging through the core, through the belly button. Talked about the Pada Bandha, but there is another bandha here that we really lift and engage. Draw the belly button back towards the spine. And bring your body back up. Let's take those fingertips up and float those fingertips back down. Good. From here, we're going to do willow tree. And this is just a gentle little twist in the wind, letting the body twist from side to side. If you want to shift that weight from leg to leg, you can. Find what feels good in your body today. And finding that stillness again. Ready to go on?
Sure.
Okay. There is another small block here if you need it for your knee. Do you know how you abuse your knees on hard floors though? So for my sake, if you would put that under your knee, if you find that you need it.
Okay.
Let's take a standing position at the top of our mat. Drop it down and you'll find where you need it. Let's draw those left toes back into almost a warrior one, and we'll go ahead and drop that, float that left knee down to the ground, and you know me, I like to straighten this leg out in front and then ground through there. So we're doing this low lunge. Knee is okay on the on the run. Okay. Cushy mat. So grounding through this front right foot, grounding here. You're going to draw those hips forward, but you're going to keep this right leg pushing back, that hip pushing back, and that left hip pushing forward. And then when you feel that you are strong and able, you can take those arms up over your head. Okay. Good. So you're really finding the length and the strength coming through that left hip flexor on that side. Good. Breathing in. Feel it in that hip. Remember that Ujjayi breath. Breathing in. And out. Breathing in. And out. Good. Let's take another two. And out. And in. And out. Good. On that next exhale, you're going to push back into a half monkey pose, Ardha Hanumanasana, and essentially a half split, okay? So these blocks here, let's go ahead and put one in either hand. So as you, let me demonstrate first. So we're starting in this low lunge and then pushing back into that half split, okay? And you'll find, well, we can readjust those blocks as you see fit, but yeah, that's just what you can. I can fix it from there. See how I didn't cue properly. Woo! Good, 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 good. Okay, how's that feel?
Tight hips.
Tight hips. Okay, now I'm not surprised because there's a lot to stress about these days and we all hold hip in our hips. Okay, good. If you want more of a stretch, and you may not, and that's fine, you can draw those toes up towards the ceiling and really feel it in the back of that leg. Good. Let's just live here for a moment. And then I'm going to invite you into a small flow where we will go one breath and one breath, breath and one breath. You want to try that out?
Okay.
You can say no.
Yes.
You can say no.
Yes.
You can say no.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So keeping that right foot grounded in the front, draw that body forward. I guess you could have been using them up here too. Maybe you would. Does that help?
Yeah.
Does that help? Gosh darn it. Sorry. And pushing to the back. Good. And breathing in. Finding that length in that spine. Keeping those hips nice and in opposition and pushing back. Nice. And breathing in. And last one, pushing back. Good. And let's come to child's pose. See if this feels any different on one side or the other. And breathe here for a moment. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Okay. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the left foot goes out to the front. And as we learned, start with the modifications early. Take that front lunge. Take those blocks underneath your hands on this side. I apologize because I've been practicing like this and the picture says this.
No worries.
So, okay.
I forgive you.
You forgive me. Keep drawing those hips. That left hip is drawing back and that right hip is drawing forward. Really grounding through those two sides. Find the space in this front hip. So you're not crunching down into it, but you're finding the length and the strength in those hip flexors, those deep six. See, you didn't need that modification anyway. And breathe. Good, and again. Good, and again. Another nice inhale in. And on the exhale, pushing back into that half split, that Ardha Hanumanasana, and feeling the stretch in the back of that hamstring. For more of a stretch, you can reach those toes up towards the ceiling. For a little more of a stretch, you can keep the ankle long and reach the toes up towards the ceiling. I'm forgetting the real name, but it's kind of like a Barbie foot. Take a nice deep breath there. Again, if you want a little more of an exploration of those muscles, you can kind of windshield wiper that foot from side to side. Feel how that changes the stretch on the back of the leg. Gently opening up those hamstrings. And when you're ready, we'll start that little flow of 3, okay? Ready?
Yes.
And inhale, bring it to the front. And exhale, pushing it back. And inhale, bringing it front. Last one. And exhale, bringing it back. Good. Ground through those hands. Bring those toes together. Knees mat width apart. Finding that child's pose. How are you feeling?
Good.
Good. Do we want to try, we can try the flow of warrior, the sun salutations, or we can move on because we are about halfway through our class right now. So we can come back and do warrior, do the sun salutations at a later date. How do you feel? You want to do the flow?
Sure.
Have we done the flow together before? Not really.
Not really.
Not really. So all of the warming poses that we just did, we're getting you ready for the sun salutation. So when we started at the front of our mat in the Tadasana, in the standing mountain pose, this is one of our poses. Arms up over the head, that's another one of our poses. We did the ragdoll forward bend earlier. That's one of our poses. And we'll come up to about halfway here. Good. We stepped back into the low lunge earlier. That's one of our poses. Downward dog is the next pose after that. Really grounding through, bringing the elbows down to bring the body down into the chaturanga and then up into the cobra again. It can be baby cobra, it can be full cobra, it can be upward dog. Whatever you're feeling like for the day. Floating those hips back up into downward facing dog. And then with the opposite leg, stepping forward into that warrior one. Stepping those feet together into the forward fold. Lifting the arms up over the head into that mountain with the arms up again. And into that samasta ti-hi. Samasta ti-hi. I'm missing a T in there, or I'm adding an extra. Anyhow, I don't expect you to have memorized it as I just did it all the way through now, but as you can see, it is all of the poses that we just went over. I don't think there was anything new or unfamiliar. Did anything look foreign, or do you have any questions?
No.
Now ask me if there are no questions.
No.
Okay, so on the sun salutation, as you take a breath in and out, we're going to be moving through, connecting the body and the breath. As time goes on, the more you practice this, the more natural that breath connection is going to come. So today should be interesting as I walk you through. No judgments, no shoulds. We'll see where it goes from today. Okay. Would you like me to demonstrate the parts with you, or just talk you through it?
You could talk me through it.
Talk you through it. Okay. So come to a standing position at the front of your mat. Good. Grounding through those feet, engaging the Pada Bandha, lifting those toes up and dropping them back down to the mat. Finding that long, strong spine. Floating the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Taking a nice deep breath in, float those arms up over your head. Exhale out, forward fold at the waist, finding your hands to your shins. Inhale in, come up to about halfway. Exhale out, dropping all the way back again. Stepping that left toe back into that warrior one. Breathing in, finding that pose. Exhale out, bring those hands down to the mat. Draw that right toe back behind you into that downward facing dog. Nice, that was a lot of things to do on that exhale. Breathing in, coming down into the cobra. Let's take a moment here just to readjust. Exhale out, breathing in. On the next exhale, you're gonna float those toes underneath you, float those hips up high into the air. And breathing in, step forward with that right toe. Whichever one is fine. And exhale out, float those fingertips down to the ground, bring that left toe back to meet, and breathing in, standing up into that high mountain pose, arms up. Exhale out, let's draw our hands down to heart center. How do you feel?
Great.
Good. Let's do it again on the other side. So whatever leg you did or didn't do, you're gonna do the opposite now. Ready?
Yes.
And breathing in and out. Forward fold at the waist. Good. Breathing in, come up to halfway. Hands on your shins. And exhale out, forward fold at the waist. Good. Ground those hands on the ground. Stepping back, inhale in into the lunge. We're skipping the lunge, that's fine. There's multiple ways of doing this. Go ahead and inhale in, bring those arms up over your head into that lunge. I think you're okay to do this today. Ground through those hips, nice. Exhale out, hands down to the ground. Draw those left toes back to meet your right into the downward facing dog. Find that inverted V, lovely. And on the inhale in, draw your chest down to the ground. And swan dive up into, nice. And let's take an extra breath here. And out. How are your hips feeling? Okay. Good? Okay, let's take another breath in. And exhale up, float those hips up into the air, into that downward facing dog. Nice. And inhale in, draw those left toes forward. That's fine. And bring it up into that warrior one, grounding through those legs. Yes. And out, bring those fingertips back down to the ground. Draw that back foot back to meet your front. Actually, the absolute opposite. Back toes come forward. Breathing in, reach for the sky. And out, back to heart center. Okay?
Yeah.
Feel good. Awesome. Now to mountain pose. Grounding through the ground. Lifting this bandha. After connecting breath to movement, we're going to start exploring some of the static standing images, poses. Let's go ahead and pop that right toe into a little baby Groot. So draw that heel to your inner left leg. You can take your hands onto your hips, to your heart center, or reaching your branches up into the sky. But let's take a moment here to really ground through, standing on and exploring the strength of that left foot as our grounding leg. If you would like more of a challenge, you can take that right foot up to your left calf, or for the full expression of the pose, you can take it as high onto that left thigh as you would like to try.
Okay,
You're good here.
I'm
That's
okay here.
fine. Again, keeping those hands on your hips to your heart center, or you can grow those branches high into the sky, reaching out in all directions, feeling that left foot rooting you into the earth, imagining your branches reaching up towards that life-giving sun. On that next exhale, let's draw those hands back down into the heart center, and that right leg back down to the ground, to the mountain pose again. Palms are facing forward. Feel how those two legs may feel a little bit different from one another. When you're ready, pop that left toe up. Bring that left heel to that right ankle. Hands can go to your hips, your heart center, or reaching up towards the sky. For a little more of a challenge, you can take that left foot to that right calf. And for the full expression of the pose, you can take that left foot up to the inner right thigh. Really pressing the heel and the toes with even pressure against that inner right leg. Just making sure that it's not on the knee itself. That heel is below the knee, yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Again, those hands can be at your waist, your heart center, or reaching up towards the sky. Grounding through that right leg like a tree's trunk. I don't think I even said this pose's name. This is tree pose. Vriksasana. Grounding through that trunk. Feeling those roots grounding you in all directions. Just like the branches of your tree are reaching out in all directions. Feeling that life-giving sun. Breezes. Still using that Ujjayi breath. Coming back down the way that we went up, coming to heart center, and floating that left foot back down to the ground. Palms forward, thumbs are out. Tadasana. Feeling the parallel of the legs. Good. Grounding through those hips. Lifting out of those hips. Finding space in those hips. And between each vertebra all the way up. Good. You ready for our warrior flow?
Sure.
Awesome. Stepping to the forward part of your mat. We've gone over warrior 1 and warrior 2 in the past. Probably not. That's fine. Okay. So the same way that we kind of drew that left heel up, you're going to draw that left foot back till you find this lunge position. Okay. So, yeah. Kind of explore, maybe take a slightly, So your heel can come up off the floor, but keep finding the strength in that leg. You can keep that back knee a little bit bent. That looks good. Knee is directly over the toes, not further. That is nice. If you would like to bring your hands to your hips, feel the headlights of your hips and the headlights of your shoulders facing straight ahead into that direction. Nice. And let's go ahead and draw those fingertips up into the sky. And this is warrior 1, Virabhadrasana. First variation of the warrior poses. When you are ready, you're going to take that left foot and turn it out parallel to the long edge of your mat. Good. Keep that right knee reaching out over those right toes, and you're going to draw those fingertips out. Nice, you already feel it. So really feel those fingertips reaching out in both directions. In the full expression of this, these hips are facing the long edge of your mat. Good, and gaze is going out over the right fingertips and off into the distance. Feel that, and breathe. Good. Straighten a little more in that right knee just so that it's not, no, straightening, there. Good. Now you're gonna draw that right elbow down to the right hip. Okay, we're gonna paint those fingertips down and around in this direction so that you feel the length and the strength going from these fingertips all the way down to the back leg. If you want to adjust that back foot, I can see you may want to scoot you back just the tiniest little bit so you really find that length in that arm all the way down to the leg. Nice. Good. Press there. And then you're going to ground through this leg, straightening this knee up. Take this hand lightly onto your shin. And then this hand is going to look straight up into the, yep, that's it. Feel that? Feel how that changes a little bit in the hips?
Yeah.
Keep exploring this until you feel like you don't want to anymore, and then you're going to draw that body back up into warrior 2. So you'll take a little bend in the right knee and float those arms back to a T. Good. Reaching through, long neck, shoulders down, drawing those shoulder blades down, and let's go ahead and take that back foot and turn it back into warrior 1. And grounding through that front foot again, really ground through that foot, come back up to standing. Nice. Ready for the other side. Do the two sides feel a little different?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's even it out.
Okay.
And take the right foot and draw it back into warrior 1. Okay, good. So I'm just going to adjust you a teeny tiny little bit here so that your knee, grounding, go ahead and lift the toes a little bit. Feel that? You feel this engaging probably on the inner thigh a little bit there?
Yeah.
Good. You can drop those toes down, but try to keep this part of the leg feeling the way that it was. And if you would like to, you can kind of turn that back foot a little more parallel and lift the heel off the floor so you feel it really stretching through the back of the leg. Nice. When you are ready, you'll turn that back foot out, the right foot out into warrior two. So this foot, actually, let me have you, yes! You adjust the alignment on your own, awesome. Okay, same thing here, because of those knees, there. Feel that inner thigh engaging?
Oh yeah.
Feel the hips engaging too?
Yes.
That might be some of your knee stuff. So we'll keep doing this, yeah?
Okay.
Okay, cool. So really drawing through those feet and those hands and long, woo! As I die on one of the yoga blocks back here. Feel the length and the strength coming through. These fingertips, nice long neck, chin. Drawing those shoulder blades back and down. Engaging through these muscles here. Good. On the next exhale, you're gonna draw the left elbow down into that left hip and take the right hand down and across the body into full expression of the side angle pose. Nice. You may want to take that right. Yeah. Perfect. Nice. Again, feel that length and that strength coming through all this side of the body. Nice. And grounding through that left leg, straightening that left leg. On the next exhale. So we will go from this extended side angle, Utthita Parsva Konasana, Utthita Parsva Konasana, into the Utthita Trikonasana. So you ground through that left leg, finding standing, and there may be a slight bend in your knee, so that you float that hand down to your shin. And what we're doing from here is really finding, grounding through the triangle of the legs. You'll find the hips bending a little bit more. Good. And floating that hand up towards the ceiling. Nice. Keep breathing. Ujjayi breath. Fogging up that mirror. Good. And on that next exhale, ground through that left leg to come from here up to that warrior two again. Take a breath in that warrior two. Turn that back leg in parallel. Ground through that left leg and bring that right foot back up to Tadasana. Standing at the front of your mat. Feel that grounding. Good. You ready to do some floor work?
Sure.
Okay. We're gonna skip crow pose for today.
Okay.
And let's just come down into Dandasana, or staff pose. You can see we're starting to run a little short on time, so we're gonna move forward. And this is kind of a pike stretch, and it's kind of not. It is a sitting stretch, but you really are grounding through those hips, grounding through those feet. Would you like to put a little something under your hips?
Yes.
Okay. So do that now. Okay, is that a little easier?
Okay.
Good, okay. Let's go ahead and zipper those feet together and breathing in. You're gonna take those hands down by your sides, down by your hips, and really find the length and strength. You're straightening those arms next to you, and you're straightening that back into the A. Yes. And breathe. Good. For more of a stretch on the backs of those legs, you can draw those feet together and draw those toes even more up towards the ceiling. Feel that in the backs of the legs. Let's go ahead, and you'll probably take that cushion out from underneath you. Let's go into the half dragonfly, Janu Sirsasana. Okay, let's take that right foot, draw it a little out to the side, and that left foot is going to meet the bottom of the foot to the inner thigh. And if this is where we are today, so it's not what it looks like, it's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And let me actually have you take that right foot in a little bit, there, and that left foot is, yes, that's nice. So if this is where we stay today, this is where we stay today, and that's fine. Really think about those toes drawing up into the air. If you would like to explore a little bit more into this space, into this shape, We can draw those hands forward, somewhere into the middle. But if we're exploring the length of the spine and the hips in this position, are you feeling it in the hips?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. It's okay. Glad we're doing this. If you want to walk those fingertips out a little bit, you can do that. And if you want to stay here, that's fine too. So, full expression of the pose is coming here. I'm just going to do this so I can feel in the back of my hamstring. Good. Rounding into those sits bones again. Let's go back to that Dandasana and see how it feels a little bit different maybe. Is one side a little more open?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do the same thing. Draw that left foot off to the side just a little bit. Draw that right foot in to match. Good. Feeling like this foot is against a wall. And breathe. Left foot in to meet the right into Konasana, butterfly, or Baddha Konasana. So bounded angle pose. So yeah, here is our little butterfly pose. And find that breath. Inhale in all that good oxygenating air. Exhale out all the tension in those hips. Let's just do a passive stretch for right now, letting gravity open up those legs. Don't press, don't engage those muscles. Let's just let gravity do the work for right now. Breathing in. Think about drawing the belly button to the back of the spine. Engaging that which bandha that actually is. That will be our next lesson, yeah? And breathing in, finding the space between each vertebra and the spine. Breathing out, drawing those shoulder blades down and back, shoulders away from those ears. And earlier we were doing a little bit of a passive stretch. Now I would like for you to engage those hip muscles, those glute muscles. Breathing in. So engaging the backs of those legs, drawing those knees down to the ground, and release those muscles. And breathing in, and drawing those knees down to the ground, and relax those muscles. So you know what I'm asking for, and engaging the back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Okay, one more time, breathing in. And engaging those back glute muscles, drawing those knees down to the ground, and exhale. Nice. All right, ready for Paschimottanasana?
Okay.
Pike stretch. Forward fold. So from that Dandasana, you can take your hands onto your thighs or onto your shins. Okay. Zipper those legs together, heels together, toes together. And I would prefer to see a little bit of a bend in those knees and those belly button drawing down to the thighs as opposed to this position here. So it's really a bend at the waist. And if you can get to your hands to those toes, if you can't, that is fine. Okay. They're right there. They're right there.
I see them.
Okay. Breathe. believe this is called the Western stretch because it is stretching all of the Western side of your body, your back and the backs of the legs. It is an intense stretch, so find the breath, send the breath to where you're feeling the most amount of tension. Good. Breathing in that good oxygenating air. Breathing. Finding that length in the backs of the legs and back of the back. I feel the need to explain here to anyone watching this video that this is my husband and he does know that I'm a stretchy freak. I normally would not continue to stretch like this with a regular class, but I feel like you're used to my doing this all the time anyway,
Yep.
so I don't feel bad holding myself. Yeah, anyway. And I know I don't need to make excuses, but I feel that need to explain. Okay, how do you feel? Does that stretch anything? Feel it?
Yes.
You don't have to just say yes. Okay, this is a nice one. Seated twist. Marichiasana. I need to look up how to do that one. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that right knee. We're going to draw it into ourselves. Okay, and we can just sort of hug that leg for right now and breathe. As we find this position, try to ground through those sits bones into the ground and draw that spine into the air. And then when you feel ready and able, you're going to try and wrap that left arm around that right knee so that you're squeezing it in even more. Okay. Yeah, that's it. When you feel ready and able, you'll take that right fingertips behind you so you can ground through that right arm. Again, still squeezing that right leg into yourself. How's that feeling? Do you want more of a stretch or is this a good place for today?
A little bit more.
A little bit more of a stretch. Let's come back a little bit more to the center. You can cross that right leg over your left.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay. A little bit more of a stretch. Okay, so maybe what we can do is you can take that left arm, bring it to that side, keep the palm up into the air so you can really, really ground through that. Does that give you more of a twist?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. More of a stretch. Not that much more of a stretch. Okay. And keep breathing through. Keep lengthening the spine, pressing the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. These twists just squeeze out all of that fascia that's wrapping around all of our organs, cleansing all of it. Let's take one more nice deep breath in. Breathing in, getting taller. Breathing out and squeezing a little more into that twist. Breathing in, getting taller. Squeezing out into a little more into that twist. Breathing in, getting taller. Breathing out, squeezing a little more into that twist. Good, and exhale gently the way we got into the stretch. Come back to neutral. Guide that right leg down. And the left leg up. Again, let's squeeze that leg into ourselves to begin with. It appears it is still recording. That's good. And when you feel ready and willing and able, bring that a little bit closer and a little bit of a twist. Yep. Okay. Next step after that is drawing that left hand to the back. If you want to keep that right leg still engaged, you can do that. If you want to leave it relaxed for right now, that's fine too. We're really focusing on the core and twisting that core. And if you want to get more of that stretch, you can take that arm, really lock it into the outside of that left leg, and ground through. Nice. Good. Breathing in, getting taller. Breathing out, Twisting it a little bit more. Breathing in. Getting taller. Twisting out a little bit more. Breathing in. Getting a little bit taller. Breathing out. Twisting in a little bit more. And releasing it the way that you got in. Good. All right, how you feeling? Okay, let's take one little arch, and then we're gonna do all the fun stuff, the relaxation stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back down onto our bellies. Unless you would like to do some core work first.
Nope.
Okay, onto our bellies, into the Sphinx pose. I made a decision, but then I felt like I would ask, and my instinct was correct. Okay, Sphinx pose. Hands are underneath your shoulders here. And let's go ahead and draw that body up. So same thing that we were doing earlier with the Cobra. To start with, we engage those back muscles. I know my hips are all wonky donkey and out of alignment and post-baby imbalanced. But if you start to feel any imbalances between the two sides, feel any extra tension happening in your lower body, try to engage and encourage it to relax. So that we're just in the Sphinx pose. Imagine that you are a Sphinx in the deserts of Egypt. And breathe. Finding that Ujjayi breath. And breathe. Zippering those legs together, knees together, toes together, heels together. Nice. This is where I start to feel how tight my quads are. You want to take it up a notch?
Okay.
Let's go into Salabhanasana. Let's go into Locust Pose. So you're going to go back down onto your chest. Take your hands. Can you clasp them behind you? Okay. And then you bring your, And if you would like to, you can take those toes off the ground as well. You're finding that arch. Feeling into the back. Keep breathing. Good. On the exhale, bring it back down to the mat. You want to do 2 of these little ups and downs?
Okay.
You can say no.
Okay.
You can say no.
Okay.
And breathing in. Exhaling out and bringing it up. And bring it back down to the mat. And inhale down on the mat. Exhale, bringing it up. And see if you can go a little bit higher. Keep those shoulders down. And bringing it back down to the mat. Good. And one more time, breathing in. And exhaling, drawing that body up. And bringing it back down to the mat. And relax. Okay. Now comes the fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Make your way to your back on your mat. If you want to sit up, you can bring your feet to this side. You can just roll over, whatever you need to do to make it comfortable for yourself. And come to that back part of your mat. Now, draw your knees up. You're going to hug around the outsides of your knees. Feel like you're on the out. You feel okay on that part of the right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You're going to draw those knees into your chest. And no joke, this is called the wind relieving pose. So, relieve wind. Just kidding. It's fine, don't. And breathe. Apanasana. A couple breaths here. Good. You ready to get into those hips even more? Let's take that right heel. You're going to cross it over your left knee into like a figure 4 pose. So, but you can draw that left foot down. That's fine. And from there, will you be able to bring that knee up? If you want to,
Maybe.
Okay. If this is good for today, this is good for today, and that is lovely. Breathe. You feel that left hip opening up?
Yes.
Cool. On your exhale, if you want to push that, engage those gluteus muscles so that you're opening that left knee even more. You can find and play with that edge. If you would like more of a stretch, and you can say no, you can draw those hands through your legs. Your left arm goes through your legs, your right arm goes around the outside of your thigh, and you grab that right thigh and lift that closer to you. Yes. Not today.
Not today.
That is fine. And we'll keep working on opening up those hips. One more breath here. And go ahead and float that left foot back down to the mat. And we'll reverse and do the same thing on the other side. So the right foot comes up and crosses over the left knee. And breathe. And fireworks still. Feel that hip opening up and releasing. Good. You can draw it back down to the ground. Let's take one last little Benanasana. So like we did the side angle, the ankle bend earlier, the side bend.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do the same thing, but on our mats. So you can draw those heels out in front of you. And reach those arms up over your head. Grab one wrist, pull it to the side. If you want to zipper those legs together and really feel that stretch in the right side of your body. Good. And same thing on the other side. Switch wrists. Grab the other wrist and draw it over to the other side of the body. Zippering those legs together. And those feet. And really feeling it all through that left side of your body. And last breath there. And come back to neutral. Bringing those arms down to your sides, palms are up. And feeling that Shavasana. Think about that intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. We're going to set a new intention for going out into the world from here. start bringing more attention back into your fingers and your toes. Those wrists and those ankles. Maybe taking that head from side to side. If you want to draw yourself onto your side, either side, right or left. Yes. Good. When you feel ready, let's come back up into a sitting position. The cushion is behind you. Find that easy pose again. Get back onto that intention that you set at the beginning of class. And think about moving it out into the world. In this day and age where everything is changing on a moment-by-moment, hourly basis, think about the grounding and the space and the challenges you faced in here. Bring that into the world around you and all the people out there waiting. Namaste. How do you feel?
Good.
Better?
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
This is a good thing to do today?
Yes.
Good. Hear that.